everyone? Wow, I love the energy here. I know you are hungry, so I'm going to be very fast. Is that okay? This great event. Let's put our hands together for that. You don't know. Are you excited to be in Abuja today? Are you excited to be in Abuja today? If you're excited, make some noise! Yes. Have your seat. So thank you so much for bringing me here. Dr. Victor, your amazing leaders, the strategy team members of your team, Dr. Ambassador Elijah Mba, and other amazing people here, okay? I'm just stopping at the two because if I call everybody's name, I will stand here till the next 1 hour. And of course, they say where a great man is, when you see a great man, there's always an amazing woman behind. So, this is also an opportunity for me to say something nice about the force behind the force. Are we excited to be here? So, should I say the handbag of the great man, okay? She's an ambassador whether she likes it or not. So. Because if your husband is an ambassador, you are an ambassador as well. So ma'am, I greet you. Now, before I make the biggest mistake of my life, I'm not called chair, and they will call people from somewhere now to come and carry me here. Let's put our hands together for chair, the chair. I will come downstairs and I won't see my car again. Chair has been there for us, you know, from the beginning. All right, I'm going to quickly run through my... You know I'm not here to train you. Everything you need to know to succeed, you already know. I hope you know. You already know what to do now. You just need us to remind you about why you are here. Why you traveled all the way from Enugu, all the way from Kano, all the way from Jos, all the way from Kaduna, all the way from everywhere you came from. Benin, outside Nigeria, you know. You know why I didn't call your city? Because you guys are not doing so much. I just called the places I used to hear. If you get angry, do something. Is that okay? Good. I don't know if my slide is on. Okay. Now, as God will have it, my slide is not up, so I'm going to continue talking. Is that okay? See, I've always dreamt for a time I will stand on a stage and speak to amazing men and women like yourselves. But this platform has given me the opportunity. You know, you can speak to people and they're all negative people. True of us. Who has ever done a big event here? You're talking to people, but they have a mind of their own. And when you make altar call, when you are talking, they are nodding their head as if it's entering. And then you make altar call. When you tell people why I come, you know, you ask yourself questions again. In 2016, when I saw this business for me was God sent. Because before that time, they told me, go to school, study very hard, write JAM. I don't know what they write now. Is it JAM or post-JAM? Indomie generation. We wrote JAM and JAM will jam you. You know, after the first and second, if you get it at the top trial, good for you. And make sure you apply for a federal government uni, or those of us from the other side, you know, we have levels of federal government universities. But we also have schools that when everybody has done everything, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Okay? They told me go get a degree. My mom didn't go to school. How many of you are from Enugu here? How many of you? Very well. You know, I had the awesome privilege of being, I wasn't born in Enugu by the way, but then nursery, primary, and secondary all happened in Enugu. Yes, it was uni that I did in the West. But I spent, you know, almost 20 years in Enugu. Then, my mom didn't go to school. And she told me time and time again that the reason she's disadvantaged was because she couldn't go to school. You know, when you say you didn't go to school, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Not uni. She didn't even go to, she was not in secondary school. She finished primary and had to go to the farm. So because of that, she struggled, trained herself, became a nurse, you know, that kind of nurse that you don't get a degree. You know, finally, if you laugh, I will slap you from here. So, you know, finally, things became very hard. My mom would go to Ogweteme Market. You know it, Nabi? But before that one, she would go to New Market. She was hawking, you know, Coke and Fanta. Then it used to be pure, not pure water, it used to be correct. Yes. You know, she kept doing that until it got to the point where she kind of graduated to selling abacha. She hawked abacha for over 15 years in Ogweteme Market. Why? Because she didn't want to give herself excuses. She wanted the poverty to end with herself, not allow it to seep in and come up to where I was. Do you understand? That was a mother's love. Do you know why I'm talking to you? The reason I'm telling you this story is because you are not here for play. Hello? I need to remind you why you are here. Why you must take this business seriously. So, yeah, I eventually finished my first degree. I didn't make a first class. I didn't even make a 2-1. I quickly went for my master's. I went to University of Ibadan. So I was always in school. She told me, don't worry, don't bother coming back, because coming back is extra cost. Do you understand? Just stay there, whatever I have, I'll send to you. And she did all of these things I mentioned to make sure I finished. I got my master's degree. That was in 2012. I had high hopes. Even herself, she also thought that when you have a master's degree, you walk on water. Do you understand? You get, wherever you come, they'll be begging you, can we pay you 500K? You know, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, 8 months after my master's degree, no job. I served in Abuja, I worked it. 99% of people who come here, they worked it. Hello? I worked my own, got here, served, no job. I was squatting at Nyanya, area A. Who knows Nyanya here? I stayed there 8 months, and finally I got a job. And when I was interviewed, the woman interviewed me at Transcorp Hilton. So when she interviewed me, she told me, you know, she was asking me questions, I was answering, and then we got to that point. How much would you like us to pay you? I said, if I say below 100,000, it will look as if I'm not sure of myself. If I say 200K, I will surely sound like a greedy person. So I said, somewhere between 120 and 150. The woman quickly dropped her book and looked at me. She's Nigerian, but she's been in the UK for a long time. And in her British accent told me, you must be joking. I said, you must be joking. I said, man, I didn't know what to say. So she said, you want me to pay you 120 to 150 without experience? Hello? 5 years of first degree, almost 2 years of master's degree, with other rishi things I did. And this woman calculated and summed up 8 years plus and told me no experience. I was offended. But then, I was the one looking for the job, Abi. She told me, don't worry, I'll get back to you. This was on a Saturday. Remember, I had waited for 8 years. On Sunday, I was in church, and I got a text message. The text message was, we're going to pay you 50,000. Take it or leave it. If you take it, let me see you at work tomorrow, on Monday. And that was how I resumed though. I respected myself and collected 50,000 naira. Before they say I am proud. So I started 50,000 naira job, but I worked so hard. This woman pushed me. She embarrassed me openly, and I'm grateful to God she did. 3 months later, she upgraded me to 70,000 naira. But that was the point I realized that, hey, I have to look for something better for myself. I started looking for other jobs. I finally got one that paid me 120,000. But I didn't tell you that before that time, I jumped. I kept working. I finally got the job. And I was working in a beautiful place. NGO job, you come into an office, beautiful, and in your mind, something begins to whisper to you that because you work in a fine office, that you have money. Hello? Some of you, I want to believe nobody still works here, right? Just in case you still want to go back. So I was in that situation when 1 year later, they called us to a meeting. I had moved from Nyanya to Kado Estate. Hello? If I catch you making noise, you come and stand here with me. I was at Nyanya, moved to Kado Estate. So the rent, I was squatting before now, but now I was now paying my rent. So when I got to that point of running, doing the business, of course, I was in Egypt then. If you don't understand what I mean, don't worry. Or we're in Egypt before we came here. We're in Egypt then. So we were in one other company like that. While I was in Kado, they called us to a meeting on a Friday afternoon. I won't forget that day. It was Friday, the 27th of that was the last working day of the month. And after talking for long, I told my friend, see, the way these people are talking, are you sure say what I'm thinking will not happen? If your boss shouts on you, your job is safe. Hello? If your boss shouts on you, your job is safe. Yes. But if your boss calls you and starts commending you, tells you how wonderful you've been, my brother, it's about to happen. That was what one person to the other, they brought one HR. At the end of the day, they said, we can't pay you again, just go back. Don't worry, we'll give you a forwarding letter, wherever you want to get a job, even United Nations, right? That was how I lost my job. It took me 2 weeks to understand that you don't get a job again. I said, okay, I'm going to focus on the other side where we used to be and run it for where? My landlady called me and told me, are you aware your rent is almost due? Because I hadn't saved money. And I was hoping that 3 months plus, I was going to just put together everything and then use it as rent. After stepping into 2 months, and I was still owing, I just borrowed cents and then spoke to one of my friends. I said, yes, there's a place at Logogoma, Pengasin Estate. Who knows Pengasin here? Pengasin 2 Estate. There's a fine place there. When I got there, I was shocked because what I saw there was several uncompleted projects. And then that was how I relocated to an uncompleted building. So, for those of you who want to study very hard, this is an example of somebody who studied very hard. And nothing is wrong with school or education. Nothing is wrong with education. Don't get me wrong. You can see gross earnings 70,000. By the time you remove national health funds, NHIS, and all of that, my take-home pay was 62,000 in Abuja. How? So, this was the place I stayed. I said I was going to stay here for 2 weeks. I'm going to hustle. I started junior job. There was nothing I didn't do, except things that I won't be proud of. But I hustled. I was still here. Can see other parts of the house, very beautiful. If only someone had told me then that, Ross, you're going to stay here for 1 year. Yes. I was here when I started this business, so I saw the business homeless. For those of you that, I don't know, I saw the business while I said, wait, I want to settle my mom. I want to do a lot of things. Is it how it's going to happen? By being homeless? So when I saw this opportunity, I was skeptical. I didn't think it was going to work. That was in January. But I got connected. Though afraid. Hello? Though afraid. I don't care where you are right now in this business. I don't care the things you want in this business. I do not care whether nobody believes in you but yourself and yourself alone. I do not care in the things you are doing, because if you're not sure why you're doing what you are doing, you're just going to be very, very flippant with it. I was homeless. I needed to take care of a mother and my dad and other things I had, responsibilities. At night, Bopo will come. They say they've been stealing in this estate. They say those that are squatting, they will bring me out at night. Master's degree holder. Is that not an error? With all your degree, with all the things you've done, God punish poverty. That's why when you do this business, you do it red eye. Because you're not doing this business for yourself. How much can you eat? How many cars can you drive? But you need to drive those cars, because some people's faith will not be able to engage in this business until they see you ride high and high. They see you travel. They see you build houses. They see you do those things that are meant dreams to them. Not until then. I was afraid. But in 16 weeks of connecting to the business, 16 weeks, my room was such a small room, uncompleted house. I had to borrow something to cover the window. I had bushes around me. No power, no electricity, no water, nothing. In fact, there was no electricity, even there was no pole or so connected to the house. Later on they did that, but then my connection was so whacked that there was no need to connect anything because the place was not just ready. My toilet, you can move things around. Finish what you're doing, move it back again. Nothing, just like that. I was there, but don't miss the message. The message is that I had to use what I had. I knew that my phone must have data. I could go hungry, but data must not lack. Any day I lack data, that's when it's finished. And I protected my mind that this is a phase. I'm going to pass through this. Most of the leaders didn't even know what I was going through. Now this was a phase for me. I was going to pass through it. And one day, I'm going to stand and encourage somebody. And I think it's already happening. Right? So I used my phone, sent messages to people. Third party. I will send the video to you. I used the video. Because I had used one gene transfer for like 6 months. So if I have a face-to-face meeting with you, you look at me, and you ask me again, did you say there's a business you want us to talk about? And you're looking at me saying it. Hello? I didn't look like it. I didn't. So I used the videos a lot. I didn't have the resources, but I became resourceful. Right? And then in 16 weeks, this happened. I had done about 700,000, but of course, when they told us to send, that was what I had. In 1 year, or 13 months of running the business, how much do you see there? On the day we had this event, then we had just moved to 70K pack, and then later on we reverted back. But then, on that day, somebody in my team actually got a 7 accounts on 70K mega pack then. And in 2 or 3 days, I added what I had made, and it went above 300. But this was what it was. On the time, they said, send what you've done. Then the travel started. That was my 2nd year in the business. And it continued. I hadn't stopped ever since. I used to use my leg a lot. When I tell you a lot, I use my legs. Because in 2 estates is far. Sometimes we'll trek. But when you see me, I say, make a stroke home, make a stroke home. 2 hours with a stroke. Sun will beat you. Rain will now beat you. But before you get home, somehow sun will dry you. So nobody will really know what happened to you. I had one sneaker. I used to wear one sneaker then. I bought it blue. By the time I was done with that sneaker, it was white. I'm sure that sneaker will say, in my next life. And finally, I bought a car. And I'm Mercedes-Benz. If you don't clap for me now. This was my first car. I know no be 2021 model. Yeah, but I'm Mercedes-Benz. If you think I lie, ask your dad. this is where we are now. Yeah, this is where we are. The way you shouted for me at that degree, that is how fast thank you. You know, the day we got into Joburg, I asked my wife, "You dey sure? I don't marry now. How about?" We got into Joburg. I asked her, "Is this South Africa?" She said, "Yes now." I said, "Eh? That these people are using to make mouth for us." I just entered like that. I said, "I must snap." I went, you know, took this picture. And then we've been taking pictures. We've been to Mauritius, we've been to Seychelles, we've been to, you know, plenty places. You understand? You won't be like me, Abi. It's simply a decision. A decision that you don't have to go home to make that decision. You decide right here and now to do what you need to do. Moving around. Who would ever believe that this same person used to live in an operated building? Lack of money causes what? Insult. Where there is no money, insult abounds. If you are tired of insult, make money. I've traveled to Ethiopia, South Africa, Seychelles, Mauritius, UAE, Philippines, and counting. And we are still not tired. In 5 years of doing this, I've flown in a helicopter. You don't fly a helicopter before. Village people. I've been on a yacht. Yeah. I've cruised on a yacht. Yeah, of course, me flexing my car. Some people say, they borrow car, they snap picture. Say, God punish poverty. God, let me show you the picture. Okay, I wasn't supposed to show you this, sorry. But this is where we are. Yes, some of my pictures. Just delete that one from your mind. If you know, you know. Somebody saw this picture and said, "Who is this guy?" I said, "You should have seen me 5 years ago." That's 5 years ago. That's me and my wife, Paraceli. You don't finish though. So, are you motivated? I do not want to motivate you. That's not my intention though. My intention is to remind you why you must succeed in this business. Success or nothing. Tell your neighbor, success or nothing. Success or nothing. I do not